Welcome everyone to Paragon gameplay with Countess. I'm gonna show you guys what I play with her in a deck build. I have two builds with her till now with the decks, and the one I usually used to play with was the affinities Death and Intellect. The way this works is a really great way. You're gonna counter the other counters on the enemy team really easy with this one. Because you have the sleeper agent where you basically lock her down and she takes 15% increased damage. The problem with it that I struggled with was that late game or towards that area, I would struggle with facing people with too much health and defensive things to sustain themselves. So I tried to figure out to make another build on Countess to make her become even a better late game caster. So I went for the different affinities in this. I went for Death and Chaos, and I'm gonna show you in a second why I did this. Beginning with the gems, I went for Auto Shield. The reason I went for that is because in some certain situations you just need a tiny bit to survive or sustain yourself. So Auto Shield is that tiny little bit you make sure that you're gonna survive once you reach 25%. So it's gonna juke a lot of players too. And then I went directly for experience because you want to get as much experience as possible to level up fast in the early stages so your spells become quickly powerful. At least the wave, that's the one I max out instantly because it deals a lot of damage. So that's why I go for that, to get the experience. Right after that, I go for the Spell Burn card. So far, what I know here, people go for the Mana Fountain card as well to make sure that they can have the mana regen and don't have to go back as much. But I usually go for Spell Burn to have the extra 2% of enemies' current health over 3 seconds, scoring some kills having a dot on players. So that's a useful card in my opinion. Right after that, I go for the Ruthless Spells, with 6 basic armor and deal an additional 1% ability damage for every 10% of enemy heroes missing health. So, if the target is at 50% and I just want to use my ultimate, that's gonna give me another 5% bonus damage on my ultimate. So that's a great gem to have for Countess. Last gem in Intellect is gonna be Overpowered Spells. The reason I go for this is because you're gonna deal 20% bonus damage, and it's also gonna increase the cost of your spells by 30%. So that's a bit of a downside, but it does not matter. You still get, in this card that I don't have all of them, but this one I use, I get 20% mana regen and 60 health. So it's gonna make you wickedly overpowered this build if you have these gems. Last gem slot is gonna be Quick Exit in Vitality. Just to have the movement speed when you leave your base to get your stuff placed fast. So that's basically the gems I use for this build. Over to the cards. I begin with just 1 point in agility early game because I either jungle or I go offlane with Countess. So this is a great way of securing the kills if I'm in offlane, or it also is gonna increase my farming speed in jungle when I'm doing that as Countess. So that's a good starter card for her. And right after that, I go for the Tireless Reaper. The reason I do for that is that her next ability is gonna cost 20% less mana. So as a Countess, you're gonna cast at least 2 spells all the time. So that's gonna make it a bit more mana efficient that way. So that's good. 2 good starter cards. So right after those 2, I go directly for more Intellect. Build 4 Intellect into Invader Mage. It's still early game, so once I have those 3 cards, I focus on building instantly for Shadow Dancer. Once I have that, I start replacing the Tireless Reaper and go for the Invader Mage again. Invader Mage into the Reactor Beast. And once I get the Reactor Beast, the reason I go for that as well is because you have Roll the Bones. Hero kills reset all basic ability cooldowns. So basically what this does is whenever you kill a target, and if it's in some situations where it's good, where you're facing several opponents, it's going to reset your wave, it's going to reset your teleport ability with Countess, and it's going to reset your right click on the mouse. It does not reset your ultimate, so just so you know that, your ultimate is explicitly out of that, so you have to focus on having that cooldown timer on. And also you get the 240 health, which is a good sustain for mid game till late game, and you get some power out of it. Once you have those two, I focus on replacing the last card during mid-game, which is Call of the Week. I build my way up to get the Invader Mage again, just to get something better than Call of the Week at that point. And once I have the Invader Mage, I go over to something called Amplification Engineer. Now, if you read about what I said earlier about my gems like Spell Burn and Ruthless Spells, this one really goes really hand in hand with it. You get 24 power, 210 mana, and also when casting an ability, damage nearby enemy heroes for 8% of their current health as ability damage. So it's a really good card along with Spell Burn and Ruthless Spells. You're getting the extra percentages in there. But usually at this point, I usually wipe out all my cards. Just take them all out and go directly for red zone. Once you have enough for your red zone, you are becoming a monster as Countess. My god, every time I play with this, you basically deal 800 to 1000 waves and 5 and 600 on your right clicks, and ultimates deal almost up to 2k. So this is a great card. The only negative downside with having it is that you as well will be receiving 50% bonus damage onto you, but usually when you play Countess, and as I do, I have that one and I focus getting the Shadow Dancer instantly after getting the red zone if possible, so I have the opportunity to surprise people. But along with those two and then into the Reactor Beast, so those three, and if I get that late game to replace the Reactor Beast with Amplification Engineer, there is basically nothing that can withstand you, except from tanks of course, but you're gonna be a massive force against tanks, as you will burn their health down with your gems, as they have a lot of HP and you have a lot of amplifiers that way along with red zone. So this is basically it, the cards, and I'm gonna show you guys in game how this will be. Enjoy.
Round 1. Fight!
day. Something in here's not right today. Why am I so uptight today? Paranoia is all I got left. I don't know what stressed me first after how the pressure was fed, but I know just what it feels like to have a voice in the back of my head, like a face that I hold inside. Face that awakes when I close my eyes. Face that I watch every time I lie. Face that laughs every time I fall. So I know that when it's time to sink or swim, that the face inside is hearing me, right underneath my skin.
In me, point out all my mistakes to me. You got a face on the inside too. Your paranoia is probably worse. I don't know what set me off first, but I know what I can't stand. Everybody acts. The fact of the matter is I can't add up to what you can, but everybody has a face that they hold inside. Face that awakes when I close my eyes. Face that watches every time they lie. Face that laughs every time they fall. So you know that when it's time to sink or swim, the face inside is watching you, right inside your skin.
Born of the earth, are we all condemned to hell? We've tried so hard, but we can't save us from ourselves. Destined to die from the moment of our birth. So why have we forgotten